Hey, what's up? It's Ragan and welcome back to my channel. Today I have a really exciting video. I am sharing with you my birthday book haul. All of the books I have received from friends and family for my birthday this past weekend, and I'm so grateful for them. And maybe a treat I picked up for myself, so let's just jump right in. I'm filming this at nighttime. It's 8 o'clock, so I apologize if there's like an orangey glow on me. It's our mood lighting. It was a glorious September day, and so I spent it outside, and I'm filming this video at night. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button if you like all things books and ballet, cozy content, stationery, iced coffee, and my occasional British husband might make an appearance or two. He's already popped in on this video once. Okay, so I have 13 books that I received, and I have a lot of different genres, so there might be something in here that you've not seen before. There are a couple books that I had never heard of before, which is really exciting to find or receive a book that just hasn't been on my radar. And I'm on BookTube and Bookstagram all the time, so it's really exciting when I come across something that is new, so it might be new to you as well. The first three that I'm going to talk about are all historical fiction, but I wouldn't even call it that. It'd be like historical fantasy. They're all based off of true events, but there are elements of magic and magical worlds in them, if that makes sense. And the first one I'm going to share with you is Enchanté by Gita Trulise. This is a reimagined French Revolution fantasy inspired book. It's about a girl named Camille who's 17, and she takes care of her siblings, and she does petty magic to get by. They're really poor, and she ends up being able to transform herself into a baroness and infiltrate the court of Louis XVI and Marie Antoinette. And it says on the back that she might discover that she's not the only one leading a double life. I will read anything about Marie Antoinette. I love Antonia Fraser's biography about her. I love the movie Marie Antoinette. I've been to Versailles twice. I'll read anything about the French Revolution, whether that be nonfiction, fiction, fantasy, whatever it is, and this is one I've had my eye on for a while. I love the glittery UK cover. I do really love the US cover, and I'll put that on the screen as well as any US covers that are different from the ones I'm hauling. I'll put it on the screen so that if you see it in a bookstore, you recognize that that's the book I'm talking about. I love the UK cover, but I love the US cover even more, so if I like this book, I will definitely pick it up in the US copy when I'm in the States next. I know that there's a sequel coming out in February of 2021, but I don't know if it's just a duology or if it's continuing on to a trilogy. I've heard great things about it. It's YA. Definitely on my list of things to read soon. Then I have two books by the same author, and that's Romanov and Fawkes, both by Nadine Brands. This is about Guy Fawkes, and if you don't know who that is, he was involved in a 1600s plot against James I. He tried to assassinate him. And the English have a day, the 5th of November, which is when it happens. They have a day today that we celebrate as a holiday called Guy Fawkes Day, or Bonfire Night, where there's a big bonfire lit, and it's about, it's to celebrate how they failed to assassinate the king. And it's just an excuse now to party for the community, and it's a lot of fun. I went last year with my husband. We went to a bonfire night in Scotland on the 5th of November. There is a saying called Remember, Remember the 5th of November, and this book is a Guy Fawkes inspired story. So it's about the son of Guy Fawkes. The real Guy Fawkes was a strong Catholic and wanted more support for Catholicism in England, and so it was a whole, you know, Protestants versus Catholics thing. And in this book, it is about the igniters and the keepers, and it has to do with magic, and there are like different masks that these people wear depending on what group they're in and what magical abilities they have. And there's a plague going around that turns people into stone. The son of Guy Fawkes has this plague, and his dad says that by assassinating the king, this plague will go away, and so he gets sucked into it. And so, like I said, it's like a definitely, it takes inspiration from Guy Fawkes, but it is not true in any sense of the word. But it sounds like a lot of fun. I love history. I love British history especially, so I've never read anything other than like Wikipedia about Guy Fawkes, and so I know this will like throw in tidbits about the real person and what happens, and it's fantasy, so two of my favorite things combined. And then we have Romanov, and this is about the famous girl Anastasia, who was murdered in the Bolshevik Revolution. As you might know, she was daughter of the last Tsar of Russia. So again, Nadine takes liberties with this book. Instead of Anastasia dying, it says on the cover, "The history books say I died, they don't know the half of it." So Anastasia's mission in this book is to smuggle an ancient spell out of Russia while the Bolsheviks are trying to take over. And I think it's a fantasy romance. The blurb gives off a lot about meeting this guy and how they end up on opposite sides of the firing squad. So I think that this is very heavily a fantasy romance that takes historical liberties, but I also love Russian history, so I'm excited to pick this up as well. It's YA, it's very short, I think it's like just under 300 pages. Let's see. Oh, it's 337. I think that both this one and Fox are standalones, and they definitely give off like a wintry fall kind of feel, so perfect time to read these books. Then I received Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantle. I cannot believe I haven't picked this book up yet. Most of you have probably heard of this book. Wolf Hall was made into a TV show. This takes place in the reign of Henry VIII. It follows Cromwell and Wolsey, Anne Boleyn, Henry VIII, all of it. So it has received the Man Booker Prize, which is like Great Britain's version of the Pulitzer Prize. It's very, very beloved. This is the best cover I've seen. I'm not a big fan of these covers. I'll put them up on the screen for you to check them out. They don't really like capture my attention. It's just that I saw this book everywhere and I was seeing that there was a show made out of it and that it was historical fiction, and obviously I'm obsessed with English history, so I knew I had to get it, but I'm not a huge fan of the covers. So anyway, this book about Tudor England is something that I want to pick up this winter along with every other book I own. Then my husband picked this one up for me, and it's The Evening and the Morning, which is the prequel to The Pillars of the Earth by Ken Follett, and this is a Waterstones exclusive edition. He said that he grabbed this one half off and he didn't know what it was, but just thought I might like it. And he's so right. I have looked at The Pillars of the Earth before. It's a trilogy that he's been writing like over the last 30 years. I think there's a big time jump from when he released the books. So this book is set in the time of the Vikings and the Normans and the conquering of Wales and England, and it's time in history that I also really love studying about, but I stick like way more into like Tudor and above. So I need to learn more about this time period. This series has a great rating, so I don't know if I can read the prequel first or if I need to read the trilogy, or at least the first one, before I pick this one up, but I'm really glad I have it. I've seen these books everywhere, so I know that when I want to get around to it, that'll be easy to find. Then my husband got for me A Good Girl's Guide to Murder by Holly Jackson. This is a YA murder mystery book that is a duology now. I know the second book is out. I don't know if there are supposed to be books after it, but I have seen it in stores, and this is about a closed case. This girl, Pippa, isn't so sure that the person who committed this murder actually did it, and so she takes it upon herself to solve or resolve or reopen the case and find out what really happened or what she thinks really happened, and she chooses it for the topic of her final school project. I think that sounds like a really interesting concept, and I've seen this everywhere on Instagram or Bookstagram, so a lot of people have been giving it really high ratings. I've seen a lot of 4- and 5-star ratings. I've only read one YA murder mystery, and that was One of Us Was Lying, which I enjoyed, but I don't think I'll pick up the sequel or companion novel. It was like a 3-star book to me, but I'm willing to give this a go in October for spooky season. My husband also picked up for me No Ballet Shoes in Syria, and this is a middle grade book. I've not read a middle grade book since I was actually in middle grade, but I love ballet and I thought that this book sounded really sweet. This is about a girl named Aya, or Aya, A-Y-A, and she is a Syrian refugee here in Britain. This is about a young ballerina who's very talented and meets a teacher who sees her potential, and she is in line to get a prestigious ballet scholarship, but at the same time her family might not be allowed to stay in the UK. I think it's going to be really heartwarming, tragic, really relevant to the times we're living in now, and it'll find a special place in my heart because it is about a young ballet dancer trying to achieve her dreams, so I'm excited excited to give this one a go. Next, I received The Secret Messenger, and this book looks so good. It's an adult historical fiction book, and it takes place in 2 time periods. So it takes place in Venice, 1943, and then London, 2017. And it's about a woman named Stella who's leading a double life. She's a typist for the Reich, but on the side, she's secretly supporting the Italian resistance. She smuggles Nazi secrets, but when it's discovered that there is a mole among them, she is in big trouble and her future and her life are in jeopardy. And then you jump forward to 2017, and a girl named Louisa Belmont finds an old typewriter in her attic, and she's determined to find out who this belonged to. Of course, it's probably going to be Stella, but she uncovers a story about fierce love, strong betrayal, and of course, secrets of World War II. So I'm excited to give this one a go. I have a lot of World War II books I need to read. They're just like stacking up. They're all going to be phenomenal 5-star reads. I just need to be in that mood to like have my heart ripped out, basically. So yeah, when that time comes, this is going to be one of the first ones I grab. Next up, I have Mermaid Moon, and look at these pretty sprayed edges. It's so beautiful. This is actually a really heavy book. Like, it's a lot of weight. It's just like really tightly packed. There are close to 500 pages in this book. I found this book from the Bright Side Girls YouTube channel, and she does a thing called Mermaid Marathon in the summer where she reads a bunch of mermaid books, and this was a 5-star read for her. I'll leave her channel link in the description bar. She has a lot of great recommendations. She reads a lot of books, and this is one that she talked about that she loved, and so I knew I was feeling really mermaidy. I wanted a good summer read, and so my mom grabbed this one for me off my Amazon book wish list. I'm really excited about it. I think it's kind of like a dark, twisted adult mermaid story. I don't think it's really for children. So this is about a mermaid named Sana, and she is part Seavish, which I guess is like mer people, and part Landish, and her mother was a human, I'm presuming. And the witch who delivered her cast a spell on her mother to forget that she had a daughter, and it's Sana's mission to find her mother. So she makes a deal with a sea witch to come ashore, and so that's where we like get the Little Mermaid story in there. And the inside of the cover says that she stumbles upon a wall of white roses and a baroness who will do anything to live forever. So I think it takes a dark spin and a dark twist. I'm really excited about this. I want to read this one really soon because the summer weather is quickly disappearing, and it's definitely a summer read in my mind. I'm kind of a seasonal reader. I don't know. I'm very much a mood reader, so it might be the dead of winter when I pick this one up because I feel like hopping back into summer. I don't know, but the cover is so pretty. Then my mom also grabbed for me Princess of Mermaids, and this is book 3 of the Fairy Tale Adventures book, and it's a Little Mermaid retelling by A.G. Marshall. I saw this on Amazon when I was looking for mermaid books, and I think it's YA. It's also heavy, really compact. The spine is definitely going to break, and I've read that you can read these books in order and like see how they connect, or you can read them as standalone. So I just asked for the mermaid one, which is technically the 3rd book. So this one says, a mermaid without a home and a king without a queen. So Fiora is the daughter of a human and a mermaid, and the mer people accuse her of waking the Kraken and are out to kill her. Whereas on land, King Gustav swore not to marry until he finds his missing father. But he doesn't find his missing father. After a shipwreck, he finds a missing person, and this person cannot speak and has a strange connection to the sea. So it really is a Mulan, not Mulan, I have Mulan on the brain. So it really is a Little Mermaid retelling. I am a huge fan of fairy tale retellings. I grew up reading fairy tales all the time. I will always read a retelling, YA, adult, whatever it is. So when I'm feeling those mermaid vibes, I have one to pick up. Then I have Half a King by Joe Abercrombie. This is a book I know I need to read. Joe Abercrombie is like George R.R. Martin. He's up there in adult fantasy. I know that Half a King is a trilogy, and it is technically YA, but it definitely reads older YA, new adult. I have the audiobook for it because I was supposed to read it for a book club I was doing with my mom, and then I got so busy I never got around to it, and I picked the book. So anyway, she sent me a physical copy of it, so I had a hard time listening to the audiobook, and I think that's because it's a fantasy book. I struggle, like, I need to focus on fantasy. So I have a physical copy that I can actually read along with it. So this book is about a prince named Yarvi who was born with a really bad hand, and I think that's where the name Half a King comes from. He's not taken seriously, but he's out to reclaim his throne. I get a lot of Middle Earth kind of vibes when it comes to him going on a journey to reclaim his throne. He has a band of loyal friends by his side, and I think that that sounds awesome. I know that this book has such a following, so I want to get into Joe Abercrombie's works. I think that this book is the place to start. Let me know if you read any of these books I'm talking about, if they're good, especially Half a King. Then I have one that I picked up for myself on my birthday. I went into Waterstones just like, you know what, I'm just gonna, if a book calls my name, I'm gonna buy it. I never buy books full price in store. I always buy books at secondhand shops or charity shops, or I order them online where they're cheaper. But Waterstones, you just never know what you're gonna find. Like, there are so many books that you just don't come across online. You just see it and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I could get it. So I did. I saw The Favorite. It is a biography about Sarah, Duchess of Marlborough, and that Marlborough is like, I don't know, 15 minutes away from where we live. My husband lived there. It's a nice little town. It's by Ophelia Field. I love this cover. This is the book that inspired the movie The Favorite that came out recently. So this is about Sarah Churchill, and I've already read the first like 10 pages. And Sarah Churchill was the best friend and top advisor to Queen Anne. I didn't know who Queen Anne was. Apparently, she was the queen that united Great Britain, England, Ireland, Scotland, and Wales in her short reign. And I just thought like there was always Elizabeth I and then Elizabeth II. There was another female monarch, and that was Queen Anne. And Sarah Churchill was devious, very much out for herself. She became the wealthiest woman in Europe at worth 82 million pounds today. She wrote a lot of scathing memoirs. She was Queen Anne's best friend, and then she turned against her for her own gain. She accused Queen Anne of having an intimate relationship with her cousin Abigail, and she was just basically out to ruin her by the end of their friendship. It says on the back that this is a portrait of a woman who cared immensely about how we would remember her. She wrote a lot of books and diaries and letters and really wanted to get the last word, which she did because she died last of all of these people that she talks about. I love reading about really powerful historical women who basically conquered court life, and Sarah Churchill definitely did. I know that on top of being very vain, that's the impression I'm getting, she also broke the glass ceiling for women, though. She was taken seriously in politics. People relied on her. She had a hand in how Great Britain was being ruled, and men took her seriously. So I've already started reading this. I'm obsessed with the cover. This is a revision. This book originally came out in 2002 and there's a different cover. And then when this movie came out, she updated the book and put out this new pretty cover. So I bought this full price at Waterstones. It was 10 pounds. I'm really happy I did it. And then my very last book is from my parents, and it is The Art of Mulan, a Disney Editions classic. Mulan is my all-time favorite movie. I only watched the first 5 minutes of the new film. I had to stop it because I was getting irritated that it wasn't the same as Mulan. So I'll come back to it. But this was my childhood. I watched it every day when I was 3 years old. I think it started off my fascination with strong, independent women and kind of pushed me, I guess. Like in the back of my mind, I always wanted to be like Mulan. This is just gorgeous. It kind of reads like a story. It's not so like just facts like about the film, but it talks about how Mulan really changed the animation game, and it has some gorgeous drawings and sketches and basically talks about how they made this film. So I love it. It's so pretty, and it's like those really nice plasticky pages that feel really good, so I love it. And then this is the inside cover and the hardbound She looks like a dancer. And then my last bookish treat came from one of my best friends. I've known her since I was 5, and she had this little leather bookmark sent to me. It's like a really nice ballet pink, like kind of a dusty pink, and it has my initials R-E-B on it, so I love this. I haven't had a new bookmark in a long time. I'm still using that Mr. Darcy one from when I was 15, and then I have one from the Louvre of my favorite painting, The Crowning of Josephine, but they're both ripped up, so I'm really happy that I have this. Anyway, that was my birthday book haul. I have so many great reads, and thank you, thank you, thank you. If you sent me a book, I really, really appreciate it. It's like such a joy to receive so many wonderful presents, things that I truly, truly care about, and will be reading and reviewing for you on my Instagram at Ragan's Reads, where I talk about all things books and ballet. Let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books and liked them or didn't like them and why that was. I'm really curious. And if any of these books are ones that you want me to read and review soon, put at the top of my list, I definitely will. I am a mood reader, so I have like a TBR that I kind of stick to, where I like pick like, I don't know, 6 books. And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna read these this month, and then I end up reading like one of them and then reading 6 different ones, so I don't know. But if you want me to read one of these soon, I will. They're all ones that I wish I could read all of them in a single day. This week I'm going to be posting my Ragan's Birthday Book Bash readathon review of the 4 books I read this week for my birthday. Lots of fun reading them. It was really like a struggle to get the time in to read all of them, but I'm really happy I did. So I have 4 books to share with you, and I will see you next time. Bye!